Sometimes you just don't want to stay home and cook, especially on date night. In this video, I'm going to share with you ways that you can be healthy, have fun, even at a restaurant. So you're going to be able to have your cake and eat it too. Coming up. Welcome back, and in today's video, I'm going to talk about healthy date night tips for eating out at restaurants. Now, when you go out to eat, it's important to realize that the main thing when going out to eat with your significant other, or if you're single and you're on a hot date, the main thing is to have fun. What I'm going to talk about here today regarding the healthy aspect of it, this is kind of secondary to having fun and sharing a good moment, a good time with your significant other or your date. So let's get started with a main tip that I'm not gonna order them, and these are not in any particular order, but a main tip would be try to take advantage of grilled foods and foods that are not fried when we're talking about your main course, your main entree. What I mean by that is avoid things like fried chicken because and any kind of greasy food like that, because first of all, as far as date night, it's probably better not to be all oiled up with your hands, and eating fried chicken can get a little messy. But again, it depends on the type of date you're on and the comfort level you have with your date. But just in general, that can be a little bit messy to eat, but the benefit to avoiding that and going with a grilled entree, so a grilled meat, assuming you eat meat, right? So a grilled meat is like a grilled steak, grilled chicken, is that, first of all, it's a lot healthier and it is a lot cleaner to eat. Typically, these will be things that you eat with utensils, whereas fried chicken, a lot of times you gotta use your hands. And again, grilled foods, a great way to get started with your entree as far as a great starting tip, because it's not messy and it is a little healthier than fried foods, which can be loaded with extra fat as compared to grilled foods. The next tip I have for you is share the appetizer. So avoid ordering multiple appetizers unless they're going to be shared, but definitely take advantage of the fact that when you're on a date, it's almost encouraged. It's almost like a common thing to share your food with your significant other or your date. So take advantage of that, and it's better for actually both of you, because you can sample different things. Maybe you might want to try ordering two different appetizers, kind of share that. And don't be afraid, or not afraid, but definitely try to avoid, if you can, eating the entire thing. Again, depending on the size of the appetizer and what restaurants you're talking about, portion sizes will vary, but I recommend that you avoid eating the entire appetizer and sharing it if possible. This is going to be great because, again, both of you can enjoy a little variety there, and you could eat it slow. And then for tip number 3, I don't know why I'm numbering them, but tip number 3, definitely take advantage of the pace at which you eat. So when you're on a date, a good thing about on a date, especially if your significant other or a date that you only recently met, but even if you're with somebody for a long time, take advantage of the fact that you're on a date and you're talking, you're either getting to know the person or you already know this person and you're just having a conversation. This is important because you can use the conversation piece as a way to slow down the pace at which you eat. this is important because when you slow down the pace at which you eat, it's possible that you can take advantage of your body's hunger signals to kind of like reduce in their intensity in your body. When you slow down and don't eat as fast, your body has time to register within itself that it's receiving food, it's not gonna go hungry, and you're not gonna get as hungry as you're eating and be, vulnerable to splurging on something or overeating in other parts of the meal. So definitely take advantage of pacing yourself. Don't eat as fast, and it's a win-win because you can also take advantage of talking to your significant other and really having a great time, but at the same time, slowly, gradually, experiencing the food, whether it be, and this works for the appetizer, the entree, and dessert. So definitely the pace at which you eat, slow it down, and definitely don't just slow down, talk to your significant other, enjoy the experience. It's okay to drag it out. When you go out to eat, you're going also for the experience, not just the quality of the food. The other tip is to, when you order your entree, be mindful of the side dishes that the entree comes with. So don't be afraid to substitute, when possible, healthier items, such as switching out French fries for maybe a baked potato, switching out any kind of fried side dish with a vegetable. And again, when you do the side dish vegetable, you don't have to worry about over-consuming vegetables on your date, which is not necessarily a good thing, only because consuming vegetables, which of course are high in fiber, you could run the risk of getting yourself a little bloated. Some people can experience stomach discomfort, especially if they're not really used to eating that many vegetables. Definitely order vegetables as a side. The portions, depending on where you go, but they're typically going to be a lot smaller, and you don't have to eat them all. Again, use the previous tips. Don't overeat, so you don't have to eat all your side, whether it's vegetables or a baked potato, whatever it is. And also, it's okay to share. So let's say you get the broccoli and your significant other gets a baked potato, then you guys can kind of like share a little bit of, you get half the baked potato, you give her half the broccoli, or vice versa, and it's going to be great because you're getting good, healthy meal portions. You're selecting food choices that are relatively healthy, and again, you're out and about on a date, in a restaurant, having fun, enjoying each other's conversation, or getting to know somebody for the first time. And this is a win-win, again, for everybody. The next tip has to do with dessert. Now, again, when you're out on a date, the main thing is to have fun. That's the primary reason that you're out on a date, to have fun, to get to know someone. So, it may be, depending on who you're with, it may be typical for that person to want to have dessert, or it may be something that you guys just want to do. You just want to have dessert. Why not? You're out, maybe it's a special occasion, you want to have dessert. I would suggest that you go ahead and have dessert. It's okay to do that. Again, we're not talking about being too strict here. And if you're selective about your dessert in terms of your portion sizes, so for example, try to order one dessert. Some restaurants, depending on where you go, the desserts can be pretty big. And even if you're at a restaurant which has primarily individual dessert portions, it's possible that you might be able to order one of the desserts that they have that is designed to be shared. In either event, pretty much any restaurant is it's gonna be okay to just say that you wanna share the dessert. But again, if you wanna have two different desserts, then you know what? Go ahead and do it. It's okay. Just maybe try to split it. And on a date, again, it's almost acceptable and expected that you're gonna be kind of sharing and splitting some items, back and forth. So don't be afraid to do that either. You know what? It is what it is in terms of, what's, the caloric content of that, it's not gonna be that bad because you're sharing it. And again, use my previous tip. You don't have to eat the entire dessert, because don't forget, as you're talking and pacing yourself throughout the entire meal, by the time you get to dessert, you may not be as hungry as you think, and you might have a lot more self-control than you think. So definitely take advantage of all of these tips. And before I end this video, I'm gonna give you one bonus tip, and that is as far as restaurant selection. So importantly, you wanna make sure that you go someplace that you're gonna enjoy. And if you already have your heart set on a particular place, go to it. But if you have the ability, the time, the luxury to select the restaurant in advance, and being mindful of this video and the tips that I'm giving you, try to select a restaurant that has a decent amount of grilled foods. So for example, I'm gonna just stick with the regular chain restaurants, nothing fancy, but if you select a place like Outback Steakhouse, just as an example, other places will work too, but Outback Steakhouse is pretty good because they have a lot of grilled options, especially their grilled steak, grilled chicken, so anything grilled meats. They have a decent variety of just their version of grilled items, and they're pretty good. I think they taste pretty good, relatively healthy. Again, you can customize your food. You don't have to have butter on your baked potato. You don't have to, or you could customize the baked potato, customize the steak so that you get a leaner cut of meat. Again, if it depends on how far you want to take this healthy part about eating healthy in a restaurant. But don't be afraid to select a place like Outback Steakhouse, because there you could really customize your food and be pretty healthy. Another restaurant that I think is pretty good, where you might like a little bit better if you want to just be safe and cover all the bases, is, believe it or not, the Cheesecake Factory. Now, the Cheesecake Factory is good because I know they have cheesecake, and they're known for their very high calorie, fatty desserts, very rich desserts, which, by the way, taste good, I know. But it's important to note that these type of restaurants, like a Cheesecake Factory, and I'm sure there are others like it, they have a tremendous variety, so that I think that incredible variety of food choices is good, because you're gonna be sure that your date and yourself have the best chance of ordering something that you like. And they have a variety not only of entrees, but a huge variety of appetizers that, by the way, if you go to like a Cheesecake Factory, you could probably not even order an entree and have like maybe 2 or 3 different entrees and split them up and use that as a meal. And of course, when you go to the Cheesecake Factory, if you can avoid the dessert, that would be great, because you're gonna save some calories there for sure. But you're not gonna get out of the Cheesecake Factory in most cases without having a dessert. And those desserts, I'm just gonna tell you straight out, you should probably share it if you wanna salvage any kind of a health benefit from this video. But you know what? Depending on the situation, I've been in situations where I have not shared a dessert. I've just eaten it all by myself. We got 2 desserts. I've even gotten 3 desserts. But you don't have to go overboard like I did. You could play it smart. Take advantage of the desserts that they have. They're big enough and rich enough that, and if you use my tips to pace yourself throughout the dining process and the dining experience, you should be able to get away with probably getting just 1 dessert, because you and your date are probably going to be a little bit too full. And again, mostly because you paced yourself. You're not going to be as hungry because your body is already sending out a signal that it's already been satisfied, doesn't need any more food. By the time dessert comes, it's almost like you're just getting it because you're in Cheesecake Factory. So get the dessert, share it, and you probably won't even finish it. I think that's probably going to be the result for a lot of people, and it's a great win-win, because again, you're going to have fun. You go to a place that has a variety of food, the desserts are delicious, and you don't have to finish them. You can get out of that date night having a great night, which is the most important thing, a fun time with your significant other, and you might be able to get out of there with still having not ruined your health and fitness goals for the day. You'll be okay. So hope you got something out of this video, guys. And until the next time, I will see you in the next video.